But let's move on. Let's move on into our last topic, and that is the Miami Heat, Dave. And this is all because we thought that them getting Andre Iguodala was going to be a really big positive.
Yeah.
And he's been playing like duty.
He had one game.
No.
There's one game, people.
But like,
One game. The man hasn't played basketball in a year and a half.
Oh, I know. But even like you and we were talking on Discord this week, and we were kind of joshing Andre Iguodala and how bad he looked in that one game.
He got goofed on by Trae Young.
Here's the question I want to ask to you, though, is not just because of that one game, because the Heat in general have kind of lost their steam. They were top 3 in the East. Now they've fallen to where right now they would either be 4 or 5, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, which I said would be the first round matchup at the beginning of the year if the playoffs started today. I want to ask you, are the Miami Heat in trouble when it comes to the playoffs? Are they losing steam at the worst time and will not have a good a good second half of the year and a poor playoff showing because they're going to lose this steam and they basically got hot at the wrong time?
No. This is a team that's gained production out of a bunch of young kids and Jimmy Butler. I'm not going to say this year doesn't matter, but I'm going to say that anything they get this year is gravy. Like Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic, by far locker room leaders. Great job by them. But Kendrick Nunn, rookie. Tyler Hero, rookie. I almost call him Duncan. Duncan Robinson, rookie. Like, oh my God, their team is just all fucking kids. So it doesn't matter that one game, Andre Iguodala was underperforming in. Like, this is a team that just, they've got the right mentality, they've got the right grind, they've got the right everything makeup around them. They're just setting themselves up for the future. So they're going into the playoffs this year. It doesn't matter if they're hot or cold. Honestly, it doesn't. It's just, as long as they play their style of basketball throughout, they're going to be fine, because guess what? Guess where the money's at? 2021, the run at Giannis.
The free agency, which
their entire roster's set up. Their contracts are set up. That's the goal. That's the plan.
Which I will ask you kind of side question to that. In our Discord, Sam posted a link, and usually, I'll be honest, I think it's Clutch Points. Is that what it's called? Clutch Sports. Usually their articles I don't...
Clutch Sports is the agency, I think.
Okay. It's Clutch something is the website. And they usually have the more outlandish kind of titles and stuff. And one of theirs that they posted is that the Toronto Raptors have the best run at Giannis if he doesn't stay.
I did see that,
with
yes.
the Milwaukee Bucks.
Can you imagine two long boys together between him and Spicy Pete?
Could you believe that? Like, if he leaves Milwaukee, do you think the Raptors would be the number one spot for Giannis?
I don't know about number one, but I could see him in the running. Like, who wouldn't want Giannis on their team?
No.
They've got money.
It's more of like, where would Giannis want to go?
Would you want to go to a team that's been a top team in the Eastern Conference for the last decade? Yeah, I think that'd be okay with me.
Depends where my other choices are.
What are your other choices?
If I'm going
Miami, Toronto.
I mean, with Miami, you've got not just Jimmy Butler, and that's
I'm going to take a shot here and piss people off and say the Knicks.
And the Knicks. Miami would be intriguing to me because not only do you have Jimmy Butler and a good young team, you've got Pat Riley, who has success, can dump those rings out on the table for you, and you got nicer weather than Toronto and no state tax.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're keeping more of your money. I don't know how the tax thing really works in Canada because I'm not Canadian.
True.
An American. But shocker. I know with Florida, a lot of people like that Florida for no state tax. But with the Heat, I feel like maybe it's also them and the Celtics are kind of switching a little bit. Where early on, the Celtics were kind of a slow start where it's like, oh, well, they'll probably be the 4th or 5th seed. Miami's going up, like they're gangbusters and they're up there. They're probably going to steal a top 3 seed. And now they've kind of switched where the Celtics are now on the run. They've now taken that 3rd seed and Miami's falling back to where I don't think Miami's in trouble per se, but I do worry about this team going forward because you're right. It is a very young team. You can't count on Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson to, I want to say, carry this team.
Carry the offensive load.
Carry the offensive load. That's a better way to say it. And it's like, how far can Bam and Jimmy bring this team? Because it's really Bam and Jimmy and then the young guys.
Yeah.
Is what this team is. Now you add Andre Iguodala, which they're hoping for when they get to the playoffs can give them significant playoff minutes. But I think at the best...
They do have Jay Crowder. They do have...
Yes, I forgot they added Jay Crowder via trade. That was the one that sent Winslow.
Kelly O.
Because that was the trade that sent Winslow, obviously, to the Grizzlies. That was in the Iggy trade. But, like, their best, unless they get on another heater like we saw in the first half of the season.
Dunk champ on that team, too.
Right now, dunk champ. I didn't know Aaron Gordon was on that team. But, like, I look at it, and I go, their best case scenario is a first-round matchup with the 76ers.
Yeah.
And a win over the Sixers. Like, I'm not saying they're winning it for sure.
But Jimmy got that mind game.
That mind game.
He's got space.
He's got space.
In Joel Embiid's head.
But, like, I look at it and I go, the best case, like, the best season they can have this year is getting to the second round and then losing probably to the Bucks. Because 4-5, they would play the Bucks.
If you talk about other teams passing them by, let's talk about those teams. The Bucks are the best team in basketball win-loss wise.
Yep.
They still haven't lost 10 games. They're still on pace to win 70 this season. Yeah. Think about it. That's just dumb.
25-3 at home.
Yeah, that's just dumb. Then you go down to the Raptors, a team who went on an equally ridiculous winning spree.
Yep.
Haven't had any issues. Like, I think they went on a 19-1 run or something. You know, it's just ridiculous. And then you look at the Celtics again, 9-1 in the last 10. Like, those teams are all just hitting heaters.
Yeah.
And if you look at the talent on the teams, well, no shit, they're all better than the Miami Heat. They've got proven players. They've got guys who have done it.
Jaylen Brown, Kemba
playoff
Walker.
Experience, Jason Tatum. Playoff experience, Jaylen Brown. Kemba Walker. Gordon Hayward's been playing incredibly well, going under the radar for people still. You look at the Raptors, guess what? That's your defending champions right there. And everybody on that team is clicking. You look at the Bucks.
I will say, I was dead wrong about the Raptors.
You were shipping their team by midseason.
I undersold them so much in the offseason.
Yep.
And they were a good team. They're proving me wrong.
Yeah.
But then you got the Bucks. That's what you were going to go
to. Giannis in the most efficient offense that we've ever seen. Well, not the most because that's the Mavericks. But a very good shooting supporting cast around him. So, like, am I surprised that those are the top three teams in the East? No. I'm surprised that the Heat were able to stay up there as long as they were with the firepower they've got. Jimmy Butler's had a rough shooting year, but been a great leader. And I will give Bam credit for making the leap from this guy's our starting center of the future to this guy has all the tools to be a star. And they've got so much young talent on this team that, they're gonna go on streaks. They're gonna go on, ruts. Like they're ups and downs. It's gonna happen because you have so much young talent.
Let me ask you this then:
Yeah.
How far do they? Let's say the fall continues because
they're still a great home team.
They're still a great home team, but let's say
they're 22-3 at home, Ricky. I don't see them falling further.
Let's say the fall continues though. And then I'm saying the fall meaning playoff spots. Because right now they're at 12 games back. Boston's only at 8, so like if they pick things up, they could catch Boston. Like that could be a little bit of a topsy-turvy switch in spots a little bit. But 4 games is starting to get to that threshold like we talked about with 5 games being the Nets to the Wizards. However, only half a game in front of the 76ers, which that could be one series where it's like, shit, we lost one more game. We're now playing in Philly more times than they're coming to Miami. And there's also a possibility that they're 2.5 in front of the Pacers. I'll ask you this. Do you see a world where they fall all the way to 6 in the standings?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. They got 16 home games and only 11 road games to go.
Okay.
So,
which, like you were saying, they are better at home than they are on the road.
22-3.
Yep.
You know who else only has 3 losses at home? Just the Bucks.
Well, I mean, the Sixers have 2.
Yeah. Well, the Sixers are also god-awful on the road.
Yeah, Sixers are the best home team in basketball.
But one of the worst playoff teams in basketball on the road.
Because you got to win on the road to win in the playoffs.
Yeah, which they can't do. They're awful on the road. And it doesn't make a ton of sense. But you know what? I'm just saying, literally, only one team is better than them at home. And then they are competent on the road. They play well. Hustle travels. Defense travels. So
Jimmy travels.
You know?
But not on the court.
Yeah, he's gotten some favorable calls, let's put it that way. Or no calls, I should say. He's getting them star treatment sometimes. Point being, no, I don't see them falling further. I think it's the 4-5 toss-up between them and the 76ers. The 76ers, if Embiid and Ben both stay healthy the whole way, I think they're going head-to-head basically in that matchup. I don't see them falling down to the Pacers at 6 at all. Zero chance of that. Vic has not been Vic yet.
Yeah.
They can get better, but also I don't know that they're going to have the time to close that gap. So I see the Heat as, you know, an overachieving year this year if they get the 4th seed, and that's awesome for them.
And, I mean, really I was going to say, like, oh, man, if I'm the Heat, like, you want that 3 seed over the 4 seed so you don't have to play the Bucks in the second round. But there's a part of me that's right away I'm thinking, doesn't matter, Bucks or Raptors. I don't want to see either of those teams in the second round. They would have to play one of them. The thing I think Miami has to, their goal the rest of the year should be at the least, we got to stay above the 76ers. Because I feel like that's going to be our first round matchup. I feel like the standings are either going to two things, stay exactly like they are right now, Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, 76ers, Pacers, Nets, Magic.
Yeah.
Or either two things will change, and
The
they're
bottom?
both flip. No. One, I could see a flip of the 76ers and Heat.
Right.
It's only a half game right now.
Yep.
So 76ers could get home court in that, which would flip favor maybe into them because their home record, and they get
They're
4
very strong, yeah.
home games, but all the Heat have to do is steal
One.
a road game, and it's like, great, try winning in Miami.
Yeah.
And the only other flip I could see is maybe Orlando and Brooklyn.
Right.
'Cause
Kyrie
of the
done for the
Kyrie injury.
season.
Yeah.
I mean, Orlando's playing without Jonathan Isaac, so it's a toss-up. Like those two teams are both missing key pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Vusi Mang plus Fournier, Fultz out there. Fultz has got some fantastic touches on assists. Like he's starting to cook. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the bottom of the East, that 7-8 matchup and that 4-5 are the only two that could change. I don't see anything else changing. And again, at the end of the day, like if you put your shoes in the Heat fan territory,
Yeah.
you're cool with this, right? Like you're like, hey, we came out this year. We got Jimmy Butler, and everybody on our team's progressing. Everybody's getting better. Like, are you taking this as a problem? Like, you moved on from Justice Winslow, injury-prone player with a cool tool set that, you know, maybe down the road develops, but also costs you some money and costs you the ability to compete for a top free agent in a couple of years. So what do you think? Are you happy? You not happy with being a first round if you win the series in the first, you lose in the second, or if you even lose in the first round?
I would want, if I was a Miami Heat fan, and let's say it was exactly what it would be today, I would want to beat the 76. Like, my best case
just
would
for Jimmy.
be...
Just for Jimmy.
Well, my best case would be second round, and then
Yeah.
everything's gravy after that. I would say even if we lose in the first round,
Yeah.
especially if we have home court advantage in that series with the 76ers,
Yep.
then I would be like, well, we're expected to win this. Like, if we let
You
the...
would favor the Heat over the Sixers if they had home court.
Yeah.
Wow. That just blows my mind.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Okay.
Like I know we talked home court and whatever, and Jimmy lives rent free, but like it's still just the 76ers on paper just have so much talent. Like Horford, the shell of Al Horford that we're seeing right now, I think is gonna turn. I think he will fucking do something helpful.
Let me ask you this then, because I feel like the Miami Heat discussion is pretty much done after this point.
Sure.
I'll ask you about the 76ers then a little bit, because bring them into this. Do you think Joe and Ben long-term can work together? Because that's what people are talking about. People are talking about how this Sixer team looks like. Joel Embiid had a great game against Brooklyn, although they came back and they had to win it in overtime. He had a great game against Brooklyn, but who wasn't out there? Ben Simmons wasn't out there. Like, when these two are out there on the same time, the big thing is, especially with Horford too, it's like there's so much room or lack of room underneath the basket to where it's like eventually something's got to give, right? Like, there's got to be a reason why this team isn't progressing. And if the Heat beat them in the first round, then I think a lot of people will start to question, hey, is this pairing really working?
I mean,
especially when we get playoff.
You know, Elton Brand fucked them. Colangelo fucked them. The league fucked them. Had they not had to sign Al Horford and Tobias Harris to these long-term deals, I'd be like, oh, they can easily make this work. You can just add in a couple of pieces for spacing. No problem here at all. But because they did that long-term deal with Horford, because they did that long-term deal with Toby, I don't know how they're going to dig themselves out of this situation with this roster as it's currently constructed. They're going to have to get creative with trades, which we'll see what, can Elton Brand earn his money at the top of that fucking front office? I don't know. Their coach is obviously a problem. Like, Brett Brown needs to go. As much as I want to ring the bell, Jimmy, it's just not going to happen. I think.
Well, don't worry, Jimmy's going to be ringing the bell.
That's what I'm saying.
All
like
day.
Jimmy might ring the bell. But the problem is that he doesn't know how to use these two pieces together. Year over year, we've seen them less effective together. There needs to be a shakeup in that coaching staff, and because they're locked into the contracts that they are, unless they make some creative trades, I think they might have. I think their hand might be forced after next year. I wouldn't. If I'm changing coaches this offseason,
Brett Brown.
Yep, that's my move
and then
this offseason.
After next year,
if next season new coach can't figure out how to use these two all-stars, all NBA talents together on the court effectively, then I'm trying to figure out how to move on from pieces like Al Horford and Toby this offseason anyway. But
okay, so
you might have to move on from one, Ben or Joe, if next season is a disaster too.
Who would you move on from if you had to choose? That's what I was going to ask.
I'd move on from Joe.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben's a limited player, but Ben's there. Ben's on the court most often. Joel Embiid has incredible top end, but Ben Simmons is an all NBA defender. He is literally one of the most creative big passers we've seen since LeBron James, Magic Johnson style play.
Yeah.
He's just got a great court vision, and if you can get a roster built around Ben Simmons' skill set, why wouldn't you do that? You're seeing what Giannis can do. You're seeing what Pascal Siakam can do. You're seeing what these big, long, point guard talented, but in the body of a 3 or a 4 can do. Why wouldn't you do that? That's my thought. Joel Embiid is fantastic. I love his personality. I love the fact that he is not afraid to come out and talk. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's one of the most dominant two-way centers, in our era, but he's not going to be healthy for you. He's come up short in the playoffs in a couple of games, and if it comes down to it, I would probably move on from him. Yeah.
And
he's more likely to ask to be moved on from.
Yeah, the thing that makes it so hard for me, and why I lean towards Ben, is because of I know that you say, you put him in categories like Giannis, and
he's 6'11" and is a point guard.
I know. But the thing that I think
6'10",
about
whatever it
is the thing that I can't wrap my head around to this point.
I put him with LeBron James and Magic Johnson, too, to be fair.
Yeah, no, but I mean
all-time greats versus current greats.
Type of player. And I got to look up exactly what the averages are this year. Yeah.
Sure.
The thing that is asinine to me about Ben Simmons, and this is my biggest criticism with Ben, is growth.
Yeah.
Whereas you can say with Giannis, he didn't start thinking about this until really this year. With
False.
Pascal Siakam, you could say really this year, his 4th year, has been the year we've seen the most of these. Eventually, it gets to the point with Ben for me is, can you shoot the 3, and are you willing to shoot it, and where is it? Where is it? Because I can't have a guard in this NBA not shoot the 3 ball. You look at Giannis this year. He's averaging.
I'm just telling you, he's been working out for 2 years. Prior to this year, he's been building his 3-point shot over time,
and that's the thing.
Same with Pascal Siakam.
They're working on it though,
Yes.
and with Ben Simmons, it's am I going to eventually see that? Because the big thing this year, yes, it was off-season video hype of oh my god, he's shooting 3s.
Yep.
But then I'm not seeing he hit a 3 this year, and everyone's like, oh cool. It's but I'm not seeing the attempt percentage is the same as it was his first 2 years. I'm not seeing an uptick in percentage. Now, as a part of that, Brett Brown and
I would blame
him holding him back is a part of it. The confidence with Ben Simmons not wanting to go out there and shoot the shot a ton because he's not confident in it. I don't know. I'm not a part of the organization. But I look at both of the other two that you mentioned, and they've been working on it for a couple of years.
Yes.
But we're seeing them now have that be a tool in their bag, an arsenal in their game. And you have to have it if you're going to be a guard or play the guard in the NBA.
Your point being
that if he doesn't add that, then that's why I would lean moving on from him
over
rather
Ben.
than Joe.
Okay.
Because Joe's injury, that's why I would move on from him. Ben, if you're not adding that 3, you're a negative to us. You're not you need that in your tool bag, or else I'm going to go find someone who might be a little bit less in other areas than you, but is overall a
we're talking about a
player.
top 10 defender in the NBA and someone who can rebound and assist at an elite level.
But if I can find someone who's just a little notch lower, but is a way better 3-point shooter, might be more of a net positive for my team.
True. I just think that you're basically putting your money on Joel Embiid's health. And that's the health of an injury-prone 7-footer.
Not an easy decision.
Have we ever seen an injury-prone 7-footer be able to carry a team? Let's just look back at the last decade of championships.
Yeah.
What team rode a center? I mean, Tim Duncan got help from his backcourt and Kawhi Leonard.
Probably Duncan.
Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard.
The Admiral was the last one?
That was only 2000.
Shaq and the Admiral?
Shaq.
No, I know.
Shaq would be the last one.
Yeah, but
who
those
was
are the
a
only
center.
two that I can think of besides
that's
Hakeem
the
in
modern,
the 90s.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In the modern NBA, that's why I wouldn't lean in. I think that the days where you can roll with your center as your best player to a championship, it's very difficult. Dwight Howard almost did it because he had an excellent supporting cast. Tito Turkoglu was out there shooting well.
Knew
Rashad
the
Lewis,
system that would work.
Yes, and that's the thing. A coach who knows how to use the system, and that's why I feel like Ben Simmons needs that. He needs a coach who has a spine. He needs a coach who will use the players around him and get the most out of his stars. And Ben Simmons being told it's okay not to shoot threes after Brett's like, I'm going to make him take a 3 a game. That died after 3 games.
Yeah, he's not even
that died after 3 games.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, what happened? And they're like, he just didn't feel like taking threes, I guess. Like, you're the coach. You tell him what to do. That's literally your job. I don't understand how they can tolerate that shit. So they need a coach with a spine. They need a coach who knows how to coach the talent around him. And they need a front office that can build around a player. And all of that together, my mind says Ben's the kid who has the potential to be a better player. He can be unlocked by a coach. We're watching Joe do this without a coach that I feel confident in. He has an incredible tenacity to his game, but show me where the path to success is to a championship with Joel Embiid. That's why I'm swinging for, I haven't seen the best out of Ben Simmons, but I might be watching the peak of Joel Embiid already.
Yeah. No, and that's where, I mean, they're in a hard situation. That is a hard decision to make because you're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah, I agree. I don't favor anybody who's stuck in that position.
Ben Simmons might not become what Giannis and Pascal look like now. But on the other end, you're looking at all that injury. I just wanted to throw that out there because that's a debate that I've been having in my head watching all the sports radio. But that's pretty much going to do it for the fast break.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching on Twitch, watching on YouTube, listening on podcast services around the world. However you digest our content. Thank you to our patrons, patreon.com/mostvaluable is how you support us. If you're on YouTube, watch us on Twitch, twitch.tv/mostvaluablepodcast. And also, Sean will be here next week, so you won't have to hear my voice.
You'll be on this side of the table.
Yeah, I'll be on that
back
side.
over. All this room, though.
I know, right? It feels nice when
it really does.
You don't have 2 over there.
It really does.
I would like it in the future. Like, my main plan is
if we
to
get
have
a studio,
desk. Have a desk,
and we go 3
that'll
wide.
have the logo on front, and how it'll be is...
We go 3 wide?
Yes, it's very kind of funny-esque.
Yeah.
But, like... they have their desk. You'd be on that side. I'd be on this side. Sean would be in the middle.
Very ESPN-esque as well.
Kind of.
Literally everyone who has a camera, that's the best way to present 3 people.
Because, like, then at that point, if, like, we have a...
we could throw Sean over there from now on. Like, we could just make him do it, and we could spin the mic. So it's like here and here.
Yeah, we could.
But,
it's this shit that's in the way. Like, I would have.
Yeah. I get you. I know this is less than ideal.
I'm gonna take it for them. So
yeah. No. Let's do it. This is a behind the scenes. This is how the.
Well, this is for the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Like Sean turning off the lights. I would have like these.
Yeah.
And this is the exact mic I want. This is the exact stand I would want for the studio. So we would have this in front of us instead of
giant arms,
this
preventing
big,
the view from seeing our beautiful faces.
You could also lean back and not have to.
Yeah, well, I kind of like. Was it the Herd that does the ground level ones where they come up from the ground and they're on arms and you just, or was it Phil's podcast?
I think it's Phil's podcast.
Phil's podcast does them too.
Phil DeFranco.
Yeah, great guy.
But these are what I want.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get that shit, man.
Well, we will, and that's how Patreon helps. It truly does.
It's our lifeblood.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.